Hi everyone, welcome back to Metanoia. My name is Carrie Jane, and today we're going to be talking about February 2023, which is the 7-year, 9-month. I want to start off with a few announcements. One is that I was a guest on the Sixth Sense Society's podcast and YouTube channel again. I'm very grateful to be their numerologist. I feel lucky to be on their show every time. They're a lot of fun. They're great, and I recommend their content in general. I listen to it every Tuesday. They have a broad range of guests, which is really cool, and I will be putting the link in the description or the comments. If you don't see it in either of those places, yell at me. I'm doing this video a long time ahead from February, which also feels kind of weird to be talking about February when I'm only halfway through January, but it's necessary. I have a busy weekend coming up, and this is the time to do it. But anyway, moving forward, the next thing that I want to talk about is to check out my serialized novel on Substack. I'm writing a novel called Metanoia, and it's up there. And with your help, I think that I could try to publish it faster. There's been a lot of recent installments in my life where I've had to switch focus on personal matters, so I'm not where I am with my writing goals. However, there is a lot of good content on there already. The amount of words that I've written so far is the amount of like a standard book. It's just that this story is very long. It's a journey. I take you through 9 lifetimes. And so, yeah, I'm only one person. I'm working full time at other jobs while trying to find other jobs. Actually, my appointment is coming up soon, so I need to figure out what to do. And so, stress. However, I'm proud of the content that I'm putting out there, and I'm not afraid to admit it anymore. And I want you guys to check that out. So I'll also, I have that link in the description anyway, but just so you know, for anyone who's new here, I'm writing a novel. It's called Metanoia. Check it out. All the links that you'll ever need for anything are in the description. That is not just everything that I've said so far. Just check out the description anyway for anything that you might be interested in. And thank you so much for those of you who are subscribed and for those of you who like my videos, because that helps an awful lot. And of course also to all of you who comment, and I get it too. I'm pretty quiet on a lot of channels as well, but just, if you're not commenting, I know you're here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking my content. And yeah, I think that I am ready to begin. I always forget to say stuff, but I'm not here to make announcements. I'm here to talk to you about where we are this year, how to orient ourselves, and some things that we can focus on. We had this number combination back in December. Okay, so that was during the 6th year, and my question for you guys is to consider, what were you doing in December? How are things different now? What's left over? And what loose ends can you tie up from perhaps the long-term view, perhaps over the last couple of years. But I think that if anything is inflammatory that we need to let go of, it was starting to become very apparent in November, December of last year. And of course that was most likely the product of a long period of time having traveled through the landscape of Metanoia, where we are in our lives, and then finally getting to a place we often see what needs to change. It comes up in many ways, things that are bothering us that we just can't ignore anymore, things that are just we need to put down in order to move forward in a healthy manner. So that is the kind of thing to be thinking about right now. The reason why I say this especially is because the 9-month is all about ending. Something comes to an end, something comes to a conclusion, and it can be a lot of work in this way. And I don't know if you can see my gecko's looking right at you. He supports that message. That's really funny. He just looks right at me sometimes. I don't know why. I don't know if he's like angry about something and he has a lot of comments to make. He's a fun dude. Yeah, I'm not gonna make this video about the gecko that I acquired recently. So, anyway, I think that last year, we were in this 6th year, which meant that we had to wrap up matters that had to do with how we feel about things. So this would be like our place in our community, our relationships, how we feel about our life, etc., that heart space. But now in the 7th year, now in February, we need to wrap up matters regarding our mental health and our overall spiritual well-being. And for the Christmas messages video, I did actually talk about something that was very relevant for this time, this 7th year that we're about to enter, which was about addressing spiritual health. The things that we believe in, maybe the things that we don't believe in anymore. I have written down here that overall this number combo asks us to look at what is inhibiting us, our mental blocks, beliefs, and behaviors. Often we have to let go of mental cycles that we get stuck in. Sometimes we're just caught up in a loop, Sometimes we are very much caught up in a mental loop. We, for whatever reason, can't seem to stop scrolling, or we can't seem to stop reliving something in our head that we regret. Sometimes we can't stop mentally trying to, work through our problems, but it's not working and the problem still persists, and of course it never goes away because we keep applying the same thing. These are just some very broad general examples of things that we need to let go of. What beliefs are inhibiting your progress right now? It's time to analyze that, and through this process we can let that go. I also have a lot of notes about what I'm about to talk about next, and it's that I think that our faith, the world's faith, the global faith, is kind of being challenged this year. And I think that this comes to a head this month. And in November of this year, we are going to revisit this space again. I think that we're just struggling with what to trust for the most part. And yes, that is our financial system. We know it's very much a house of cards, and we don't really know what to invest in anymore, and we are not really sure about perhaps even the belief systems that we have been, working with very closely up until now. It might be that, what you were so blindly passionate about in 2014 is not the same anymore, and that's okay. It might be that needs to happen. Perhaps it was just too much magical thinking, and it's not to say that is not where you were supposed to be in the past. It's not to say that those beliefs were invalid. It just means that they need to be reworked a little bit. And I think that is constant. No matter what year that we are in, we are always evolving our perceptions, and this is, I think, the year where it all takes place for us. And anyway, so I have written down here that many of us don't know, what to believe in anymore at this juncture, and we don't know where to put our faith, so just surrender to this and trust that clarity will eventually come. It's okay if you don't have all the answers right now. Be open to switching gears and going in a new direction. And I think that we might see a shift happen in between this month and the next month. So March, we're going to have a new beginning, and we might have a major shift happening right now as you're watching this video. So this is also a great time because 9 is, this spiritual number, really, where we come to a high place in evolution. I think that it's a great time to be charitable. 9 is a very giving number. It's a number around service, truly. And so give your time to something that matters to you, and maybe that does have something to do with your faith or your belief system this month in particular. The next thing that I have to say is kind of serious, and it's it's the advice that I have for this month is to not fear what happened in the past, the events of the past that have led us here. So let them go. I think we keep expecting the same terrible things to happen over and over again, and that's pretty normal. That's what happens. And it doesn't have to continue the way that it has, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have challenges anymore, just that we can leave our old struggles behind. It doesn't have to go on the way that it has been going. And after I wrote that, I found this great post on Instagram. I don't know who made it, unfortunately, but it's this quote, I guess, by Kathy Overman. Don't know who that is, sorry. And it states, "Your nervous system will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven." I'm gonna read that again. Your nervous system will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. So I think many of us are trying to be open to the fact that things can work out differently, and we don't necessarily have to settle for the same repeating pattern that we're in, that we're kind of stuck in. And when we walk a new path, whenever that new path comes, it's going to have other new challenges, but I think that we would experience immense relief from being able to put some other stories behind us, okay? So let's not choose the familiar hell anymore, if we can, if the opportunity presents itself. It's possible that we're going to be tested this month, because the 9 kind of puts its foot down and says you really need to stop this repeating cycle, So I think that we could be tested, and a question I have for not just this month but for this year is what is it that you want to take with you after death? Yes, that is a huge question to revisit, because yes, we are struggling, a lot of us, with our physical resources and trying to navigate our life through that in one way or another. And I think that when we revisit this year of basically faith, we need to remember, why we're doing what we're doing. We need to contemplate this month. What is important to you after all that you've faced, everything that you've gone through, what you're going to go through in the future. If you had to weather an immense storm, right? And we are weathering an immense storm, that is life. What would you want to be left after that? Because that piece is up to you entirely. Basically, what are you here for? That's a huge question. These are huge questions. I think the state of mind that I was in when I wrote those questions was thinking like, okay, so what if we got everything that we wanted, right? And usually that comes with some kind of security. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's more emotional. Maybe it's just feeling good about your day job, or you just wanting to leave a very stressful situation that you're tired of contending with. Say you got that, right? Say you got the thing that you wanted. That's going to disappear when you die. So what is it actually from that entire experience that you're going to get, right? From the thing that you want, is my question to you. I think that we need to remember that it's not just about getting the thing. We are supposed to be evolving in some manner through the process afterwards, so very big questions, very, very big questions. February is an important month where we can kind of like open a door finally to something very big that we need, that we finally need to move forward after all this time. It's definitely a year of big questions, and I think that we do this so that we remain aligned with our purpose, what's actually important, and not stray too far from the plan, So it's necessary, as hard as it can be sometimes, to reevaluate the past and try to make a change. And I just, just ask the big questions. Don't fear what the answer is, and it'll be okay. You can do no wrong when you're just trying your best, okay? So I'll see you all in March when we'll be starting something new. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Leave it in the comments or let me know how you're doing. And I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.
Maybe it's no sauce.